Welcome to Real English Fluency. What if the secret to improving your English was hidden in the hours when you are not even studying? Every night while you sleep, your body rests, but your brain continues to work in amazing ways. Most English learners think progress only happens when they sit with books, lessons, and exercises. But what if you could support your learning even while relaxing in bed? In this video, you will discover how a simple bedtime English habit can help you become more familiar with the language, improve your listening skills, and build confidence step by step. Have you ever felt too tired to study English after a long day? Comment below and tell me. I know that feeling because I struggled with it too. Chapter 1: Why You Feel English is Hard. You are trying to learn English, but something inside you feels stuck. You study for many days. You try hard. You watch videos. You read books. You even try to speak sometimes. But still, when the real moment comes, your mind becomes blank. Words do not come out easily. You forget what you learned. And slowly, a thought starts growing in your mind that English is very hard. If you feel this, you are not alone. This is something most English learners experience. Almost every beginner goes through this stage. At first, there is excitement. You feel motivated. You think this time you will learn English properly. But after some days, that energy disappears. You start feeling confused. You start feeling slow progress. And finally, you feel like giving up. But here is something important you must understand. The problem is not your brain. The problem is not your intelligence. The problem is not your age. The real problem is the way you are learning English. Right now, you're probably trying to learn English like a school subject. You're trying to remember grammar rules. You're trying to memorize word lists. You are trying to understand everything in one day. This puts too much pressure on your brain. And when your brain feels pressure, it does one simple thing. It starts forgetting. Think about your daily life. When you're relaxed and watching a movie, you remember scenes easily. When you're listening to your favorite song again and again, you remember the lyrics without trying. You do not sit and force yourself to memorize them. It happens naturally because your brain enjoys it. But when it comes to English, you treat it differently. You treat it like a difficult exam. You think you must be perfect. You think you must not make mistakes. You think you must remember everything immediately. This creates fear inside you, and fear is the biggest enemy of learning. When you are afraid, your brain becomes tight. It stops absorbing new information easily. Even if you study for hours, your mind cannot store it properly. That is why you feel like you forget everything the next day. It is not because you are weak, it is because your learning method is stressful. Another big reason you feel English is hard is because you expect fast results. You want to speak fluently in a short time. You want to understand movies quickly. You want to speak without thinking. But language does not work like that. Language is not a quick skill. It is a slow, natural process, just like learning your native language when you were a child. When you were a child, you did not learn grammar first. You did not memorize rules. You simply listened. You heard the same words again and again. Slowly, your brain started understanding patterns. Then you started speaking. You made mistakes, but you were not afraid. That is why you learned your first language so easily. Now think about English. You're trying to learn it in the opposite way. You're starting with rules instead of listening. You're trying to speak perfectly before practicing enough. You are rushing the process. This is why it feels difficult. There is also another hidden problem. You are trying to learn too many things at the same time. One day grammar, next day vocabulary, another day speaking practice. Your brain gets confused. It does not know what to focus on. So instead of learning deeply, you learn everything shallowly, and shallow learning does not stay in memory. Your brain needs repetition. It needs time. It needs calm exposure. It learns better when things come again and again in a simple form. Not in a complex form, not in pressure, just simple, repeated, easy exposure. Right now, you may also feel shy when speaking English. You may fear making mistakes. You may worry what others will think. This fear stops you from practicing, and without practice, improvement becomes very slow. So a cycle starts. You do not practice because you're afraid, and you are afraid because you do not practice. This cycle keeps you stuck. But here is the good news. This situation can change. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be fast. You do not need to learn everything in one day. You just need a simple method that fits your brain. English becomes easy when you stop forcing it. When you start treating it like a daily habit instead of a heavy subject. When you listen more instead of memorizing too much. When you give your brain time instead of pressure. The moment you change your approach, everything changes. English will not feel like a burden anymore. It will feel like a natural part of your life. Slowly, your brain will start recognizing words. Slowly, sentences will feel familiar. And one day, you will realize that English is not as hard as you once thought. So do not blame yourself. You are not behind. You are just using a difficult method. And in the next chapters, you will learn a much easier way. A way that feels light. A way that feels natural. A way that your brain will actually enjoy. Stay with this journey, because your way of learning English is about to change. Chapter 2. Can you really learn English while sleeping? You may have heard something very interesting before. People say you can learn English while sleeping. Maybe you have seen videos. Maybe you have heard friends talking about it. And right now, a question may be in your mind. Is it really possible, or is it just a trick to get attention? Let's be very honest and clear first. You cannot learn full English lessons while sleeping like magic. You cannot wake up one day and suddenly speak perfect English. That is not how the human brain works. But that does not mean sleep has no role in learning. It plays a small but powerful support role in your journey. Your brain never fully shuts down when you sleep. It becomes quiet, but it is still working. It processes the things you heard during the day. It organizes memories. It stores important information. This means that what you expose your brain to before sleeping matters more than you think. Think about your daily life. Have you ever noticed that sometimes a song you heard many times suddenly plays in your mind without effort? Or a sentence from a movie comes back to you later? This happens because your brain stores repeated information, even when you're not trying to memorize it. This is where sleep learning becomes interesting. It is not about forcing your brain to learn new things while you sleep. It is about gently exposing your brain to English so that it becomes familiar with it over time. Familiarity is very powerful. When something feels familiar, it becomes less scary. It becomes easier to understand. It becomes easier to recognize. And English learners often struggle not because they do not study, but because English feels unfamiliar. Now, imagine this simple situation. Before sleeping, you listen to very easy English sentences. Slow, clear, simple words. No pressure, no need to understand everything. Just listening. Your brain hears these sounds in a relaxed state. Then you sleep. During sleep, your brain starts organizing the information it heard. It does not learn like a classroom. It does not memorize rules, but it strengthens the connection with what it already heard. Now imagine doing this every day. Not for hours, just a few minutes. Slowly, your brain starts recognizing common words. Common sentence patterns start feeling normal. English does not feel like a new language anymore. It starts feeling familiar. This is the real power of sleep learning. Not magic, not instant fluency, but slow familiarity building. Let's understand something very important here. Learning English is not only about studying, it is also about exposure. The more your brain hears English, the more comfortable it becomes. Just like when you move to a new place. At first, everything feels strange, but after some time, it feels normal. Sleep gives you a special advantage. It is a time when your mind is relaxed. There is no stress, no pressure, no fear of mistakes. And when your brain is relaxed, it becomes more open to absorbing patterns. But one thing is very important. Sleep learning is not enough alone. It is not a replacement for practice. It is a support system. It works best when combined with simple daily learning during the day. For example, if you listen to English during the day and also listen before sleeping, your brain gets double exposure. One exposure is active learning. The other is passive learning. Together, they create stronger memory connections. Now think about your current situation. Maybe you feel English is difficult. Maybe you forget words quickly. Maybe you understand slowly. This is normal at the beginning stage. Your brain just needs more exposure time, and sleep learning gives you extra exposure without extra effort. You are not sitting and studying. You are not forcing your brain. You are simply listening and resting. There is also another important effect. Sleep learning reduces fear. Many learners feel scared of English. They feel pressure when they open a book or try to speak. But when English becomes part of your background, even during rest, it starts feeling less threatening. When fear reduces, learning increases. This is a very important truth. A calm mind learns faster than a stressed mind. Now imagine your life after some weeks of this practice. You are still not perfect, but something is changing inside you. English sentences do not feel completely new anymore. Some words feel familiar, some sounds feel easier to catch. You start recognizing patterns without trying too hard. This is slow progress. But this is real progress. Many people fail in English learning because they expect fast results. They think they must become fluent in a few days or weeks. When that does not happen, they lose motivation. But language learning is like growing a tree. You water it daily. Slowly it grows. You cannot pull it faster. Sleep learning is like giving water to your brain at night. It is a small daily support. It is not everything, but it helps a lot when used consistently. So now you understand the truth. You cannot magically learn English in sleep, but you can train your brain in sleep. You can make English more familiar. You can reduce fear. You can strengthen memory over time. In the next chapter, you will understand how your subconscious mind plays a very big role in learning English, and how simple repetition can completely change the way you think in English. Stay with this journey, because your brain is already starting to change in ways you cannot see yet. Chapter 3. The Secret Power of Your Subconscious Mind. You may think you are learning English only when you sit with a book or when you watch a video carefully, but that is only one part of learning. There is something even more powerful working inside you all the time. It is your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is like a silent student. It never gets tired. It never stops working. Even when you are not paying attention, it is still listening, storing, and organizing information. You may not notice it, but it is always active in the background of your life. Now think about this carefully. How did you learn your first language? You did not sit with grammar books. You did not memorize rules. You simply listened to people around you. Day after day, month after month, your brain slowly understood the pattern. Then you started speaking naturally. This was your subconscious mind learning. The same power still exists inside you today. You have not lost it. It is still there. The only difference is now you are older, and you are trying to learn English in a more forced way. That is why it feels difficult. Your subconscious mind does not like pressure. It does not learn well when you force it. It learns best when it is relaxed, and when information is repeated many times in a simple form. This is why sleep learning and daily listening are so powerful. When you hear English again and again, even without trying to understand everything, Your subconscious mind starts recognizing patterns. At first, you may not notice anything. It feels like nothing is changing, but inside your brain, something important is happening. It is getting used to the sound of English. Familiarity is the first step to understanding. Before you understand English, you must feel comfortable with it. Before you speak English, you must hear it many times. Your subconscious mind is responsible for this process. Think about music. The first time you hear a new song, it may feel strange. You may not understand the lyrics. But after hearing it many times, you start remembering parts of it. Then suddenly, you find yourself singing along without even trying. That is subconscious learning. English works in the same way. Repetition creates memory, and memory creates understanding. Now, here is something very important. Your subconscious mind does not care if you're studying or resting. It only cares about exposure. If you keep exposing it to English, it will slowly start building comfort with it. This is why even simple listening before sleep is powerful. You're not trying to learn, you're just letting English enter your mind in a relaxed state. There is no pressure, no fear, no stress. And in this relaxed state, your subconscious mind becomes more active in storing patterns. Many learners make a mistake. They think they must understand every single word. They stop listening when they do not understand something. But this is not how language learning works. Your subconscious mind does not need full understanding in the beginning. It needs repetition. Understanding comes later. First comes exposure. Another important thing to know is that your subconscious mind learns slowly but deeply. It does not forget easily when something is repeated many times. So even if you feel like you are not improving, your brain is still building connections. One day you will suddenly notice something strange. You will hear a sentence in English and understand it without translating in your head. This moment feels small, but it is very powerful. It means your subconscious learning is working. You may also notice that some English phrases start coming to your mind automatically. You did not try to remember them, but they are there. This is your subconscious mind bringing stored information into your awareness. This is how real language learning happens. Not by force, not by pressure, but by repetition and exposure over time. Now think about your current learning habits. Maybe you study for a short time and then stop for many days. Maybe you learn new words but do not hear them again. This makes it hard for your subconscious mind to build strong connections. Your brain needs repetition. Not one-time learning, not quick learning, but repeated exposure. Even 10 minutes of daily English is more powerful than 2 hours once a week, because your subconscious mind works better with consistency. It needs daily contact with the language. This is where sleep learning becomes useful again. When you listen to English before sleeping, you are giving your subconscious mind a final message for the day. You are saying, remember this language, get familiar with it. And when you wake up, your brain is already a little more comfortable with English than before. This is not magic. It is simple psychology. It is how the brain naturally learns language. Now imagine doing this every day for weeks. You are not studying harder. You are not forcing yourself. But your subconscious mind is slowly building English inside you, step by step, word by word, sentence by sentence. One day you will realize something very important. English does not feel like a subject anymore. It feels like something you understand naturally. That is the power of your subconscious mind. In the next chapter, you will learn a very simple 3-step method that uses this subconscious power in a practical way. A method that fits into your daily life easily and helps you learn without stress. Stay with this journey, because your brain is already learning more than you think. Chapter 4. Simple sleep learning routine that actually works. Now you already understand something very important. Your brain learns better with repetition. Your subconscious mind learns when it hears English again and again. and sleep can support this process in a simple way. But now the big question is this: what should you actually do every day? Many learners feel confused here. They think they need complicated methods. They think they need expensive courses or difficult plans. But the truth is very simple. You need a small daily routine that you can follow without stress. Let's build that routine step by step in a very easy way. First step is before sleep. This is the most important moment of your day for learning English. Not because magic happens at night, but because your mind is calm and open. Before sleeping, you should listen to very simple English sentences, not fast English. Not difficult grammar, just slow and clear sentences. You can use beginner-level videos or audio. The goal is not to understand everything. The goal is to let your brain hear English in a relaxed state. Do not force yourself to translate. Do not stop the audio again and again. Just listen. Even if you understand only a little, it is fine. Your brain is still recording the sounds. It is still getting familiar with the language. Think of it like planting seeds. You may not see anything today, but something is being stored inside your mind. Now, second step is very simple. If possible, you can play soft English audio while you are sleeping. Keep the volume very low. It should not disturb your sleep. It should just stay in the background like soft sound. This step is optional, but it helps your brain stay connected with English during rest. Your subconscious mind can still pick up familiar patterns while you sleep. Again, you're not trying to study and sleep. You're just giving your brain more exposure. Now, the third step is after waking up. This step is very powerful but very simple. When you wake up, try to repeat a few English sentences you heard before sleeping. Do not worry about perfection. Do not worry about mistakes. Just try to speak. Even if it is not perfect, it is still useful, because now your brain is connecting sleep learning with active learning. This creates a strong learning cycle. You hear English, you rest, you repeat. This cycle builds memory slowly but deeply. Now let's understand why this simple routine works. Your brain loves patterns. When it sees the same type of input again and again, it starts recognizing it. First, it feels strange. Then it feels familiar. Then it feels easy. And finally, it feels natural. This is exactly how you learned your native language. You heard words again and again. You did not try to memorize them. You simply lived with them. Slowly, your brain understood. English learning should feel the same. Not heavy, not stressful, just natural exposure. Now, many learners make a big mistake. They try to do too much in one day. They watch long videos. They study difficult grammar. They try to learn 50 new words. And after 1 or 2 days, they feel tired and stop. This routine is different. It is small. It is simple. It is easy to follow every day. And that is the most important thing. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Even if you study only 15 minutes a day, but you do it every day, your brain will improve faster than studying 3 hours once a week, because your subconscious mind needs regular contact with English. Now think about your current habit. Maybe you study when you feel motivated. Maybe you stop when you feel lazy. This creates gaps in learning, and gaps make your brain forget things faster. But this routine removes pressure. You do not need motivation every day. You just follow simple steps. Listen before sleep. Optional audio during sleep. Repeat after waking up. That is it. No stress, no confusion, no pressure. Now something very important to understand. You will not see big changes in 1 or 2 days. That is normal. Your brain needs time to adjust. It needs time to build connections. But after some days, you will start noticing small changes. You will recognize some words easily. You will feel less afraid of English. You will understand more than before. These small improvements are very important because they show that your brain is adapting. Many people quit too early because they expect fast results, but language learning is slow. It is like building strength in the gym. You do not become strong in one day. You become strong slowly with repetition. This routine works in the same way. It builds your English strength slowly without pressure. Another powerful thing about this routine is that it removes fear. When English becomes part of your daily routine, even in a small way, it stops feeling like a big, scary subject. It becomes normal. It becomes familiar. And familiarity removes fear. When fear disappears, learning becomes easier. You start understanding more. You start feeling confident slowly. So remember this simple rule. Do not try to learn everything. Try to stay connected with English every day. Even small exposure is powerful when it is consistent. In the next chapter, we will talk about why most learners fail even after trying hard, and how you can avoid those mistakes so your progress becomes smoother and faster. Stay with this journey, because you're not just learning English now, you are changing the way your brain learns forever. Chapter 5. Why most learners fail at learning English. You start learning English with a lot of hope. At the beginning, everything feels exciting. You think this time you will finally speak English fluently. You open a notebook. You watch videos. You try to learn new words and sentences. For a few days, you feel motivated and strong, but slowly something changes. You start forgetting words. You cannot speak smoothly. You feel confused and slow. Then your motivation drops. After some time, you stop learning. This is the reality for many learners, and maybe it has happened to you too. The first reason this happens is because of high expectations. Many learners expect quick results. They think English can be learned in a few weeks or a few months. When they do not see fast progress, they feel disappointed. But language learning is not fast. It takes time for your brain to understand and adjust. When you expect too much in a short time, you put pressure on yourself, and pressure makes learning harder instead of easier. Another big reason is inconsistency. You study one day and then take a break for 2 or 3 days. Then you study again and stop again. This breaks your learning flow. Your brain needs regular exposure to English. It needs to see and hear the language every day. When there are gaps in learning, your brain forgets what it learned before. Just like a plant needs water every day, your brain also needs daily practice to grow slowly and strongly. Fear is also a major reason why learners fail. Many people are afraid of making mistakes. They worry about speaking wrong English or being judged by others. This fear creates pressure in the mind. And when your mind is under pressure, you avoid practicing. You stay silent. You do not try to speak. But without speaking and practicing, improvement becomes very slow. The truth is simple. Mistakes are not failure. Mistakes are part of learning. Every fluent speaker once made many mistakes. Another problem is trying to learn too many things at the same time. Some learners try to learn grammar rules, vocabulary lists, speaking practice, and writing practice all together in one day. This overloads the brain. Instead of understanding deeply, you end up remembering very little. Your brain works best when it learns small and simple things repeatedly. Too much information at once creates confusion instead of clarity. Lack of listening practice is another big mistake. Many learners focus only on reading and writing, but ignore listening. Without listening, your brain cannot get used to real English. Listening helps you understand how words are actually spoken in daily life. It helps you recognize patterns. Without listening, English always feels difficult and new, even if you study for a long time. When you combine all these problems together, it becomes clear why most learners fail. It is not because they cannot learn. It is because their method is not supporting their brain. They are trying hard, but in the wrong way. And when effort does not bring results, they lose motivation. But the good news is that this can be changed very easily. You do not need to study harder. You need to study in a simpler way. You need consistency instead of pressure. You need repetition instead of overload. You need calm learning instead of stress. When you understand this, your learning journey becomes easier. You stop blaming yourself. You start focusing on method instead of effort. And slowly, your brain starts responding in a better way. English stops feeling like a heavy subject and starts feeling like a natural part of your life. Chapter 6. Make English part of your daily life. If you really want to learn English, you should not treat it like a subject you study only for 1 hour. You should treat it like something that lives with you every day. Because language is not built in one sitting. It is built slowly through daily exposure. Right now, many learners separate English from their life. They think, I will study English at this time only. And after that time ends, English disappears from their day. This is where progress becomes slow, because your brain needs regular contact with the language. Think about your native language. You did not learn it in a classroom. You did not sit and study grammar rules every day. You heard it all the time, in your home, in your surroundings, in daily conversations. Your brain was always connected with it. That is why you speak it naturally today. English should become the same part of your life, not something separate, not something stressful, just a natural part of your daily routine. You can start in very small ways. For example, when you wake up in the morning, instead of scrolling your phone in your native language, you can listen to a short English audio. It can be very simple sentences. You do not need to understand everything. Just listen and let your brain get used to the sound. When you're doing daily work like walking, cleaning, or traveling, you can also play English audio in the background. Again, you are not forcing your brain. You are just exposing it to English. Slowly, your brain starts recognizing words without effort. Even during free time, instead of only consuming content in your native language, you can mix a little English. Maybe a short video, maybe a simple conversation clip. This helps your brain stay connected with English throughout the day. Now, here is something very important to understand. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to understand every word. You just need exposure. The more your brain hears English, the more familiar it becomes. And familiarity is the first step toward understanding. Many learners make a mistake here. They think they should only listen when they fully understand. So when they do not understand something, they stop. But this slows down progress, because your brain learns through repetition, not perfection. Even if you understand only 20% today, it is still useful. Tomorrow it may become 30%. Slowly, your understanding will grow without pressure. Another powerful habit is thinking in English in small moments. You do not need to force long sentences, just simple thoughts, like describing what you're doing. For example, I am eating, I am walking, I am tired. This helps your brain start using English naturally inside your mind. At first, it will feel strange. You may think in your native language automatically. That is normal. But slowly, with practice, English will start entering your thoughts naturally. The key idea here is simple. Do not separate English from your life. Mix it into your daily routine. Make it small, make it simple, make it natural. When English becomes part of your daily environment, your brain stops treating it as something new. It starts treating it as something familiar. And when something feels familiar, it becomes easier to understand and use. This is how children learn language. They do not study it. They live with it. They hear it everywhere. And slowly, they start speaking it. You can create the same environment for yourself, even now. Now think about your current situation. Maybe you only study English for a short time and then forget about it. That is why progress feels slow. But if you keep English around you throughout the day, even in small ways, your brain will start improving without extra effort. You do not need long study sessions. You need repeated exposure in small moments. That is the real secret. Even 10 minutes of focused learning combined with background listening throughout the day can make a big difference over time. Because your brain is always learning in the background, even when you're not studying directly. Slowly, you will notice something important. English will not feel like a difficult subject anymore. It will feel normal. You will start recognizing words. You will start understanding simple sentences without translating everything. This is the result of daily exposure, not pressure, not force, just simple consistency. So from today, try to change your approach. Do not keep English inside a fixed time. Let it enter your whole day in small ways. Let it stay with you while you live your normal life. Because when English becomes part of your life, learning becomes effortless. Chapter 7. What will change after a few days? When you start a new way of learning English, you may not see big results immediately. That is the truth. Most people expect quick change. They think in 1 or 2 days everything will become easy. But real learning does not work like that. It works slowly, step by step, inside your brain. In the first few days, you may feel like nothing is happening. You listen to English, but you still do not understand everything. You try to repeat sentences, but you still make mistakes. You may even feel the same as before. And this is the moment where many learners lose hope. But this is the most important stage, because this is where your brain starts adjusting quietly. Even when you feel nothing is changing, your mind is still working in the background. It is listening, it is storing, it is building small connections. After a few days of regular exposure, something small starts to change. You will notice that certain words feel familiar. You may hear a sentence and think, I have heard this before. Even if you do not fully understand it, it does not feel completely new anymore. This is the first sign of progress. Familiarity. Familiarity is very powerful because when something feels familiar, your brain becomes less afraid of it. And when fear reduces, learning becomes easier. English stops feeling like a strange language. It starts feeling like something you have seen before. Slowly, your listening ability also starts improving. You may still not understand everything, but you will start catching small parts of sentences. A few words here and there will make sense. Your brain will try to connect meaning automatically. This is a very important change, because earlier, everything felt like noise, but now your brain is starting to pick patterns from that noise. Another change you may notice is inside your confidence. At the beginning, English feels scary. You feel nervous even thinking about speaking, but after some days of regular exposure, that fear slowly reduces. You start feeling a little more comfortable with English sounds. Even if you're not speaking perfectly, your mind becomes more relaxed. And a relaxed mind learns faster than a stressed mind. You may also notice something interesting. Some sentences or phrases may start coming to your mind without effort. You are not trying to memorize them, but they appear naturally because you have heard them many times. This is your subconscious mind working. It is storing repeated information and bringing it back when needed. This is how real language learning starts. Now, here is something very important to understand. These changes are small. They are not dramatic. You will not suddenly become fluent in a few days. But these small changes are the foundation of fluency. Most learners make a mistake here. They ignore small progress. They think only big results matter. But in language learning, small progress is everything, because small progress repeated daily becomes big success over time. Think about walking. One step is small, but many steps together take you far. English learning is exactly the same. After 1 week or so, you may also notice that English does not feel as difficult as before. It still feels new, but not completely unknown. Your brain starts recognizing patterns. Common sentence structures start feeling normal. This is a very good sign. It means your brain is adapting. Another change is that you start thinking less in fear. Earlier, you may have thought, I cannot learn English. But now that thought becomes weaker. You may start thinking, maybe I can understand this slowly. This shift in mindset is very powerful because learning starts in the mind before it appears in real life. Now imagine continuing this habit for a few more weeks. The changes become stronger. You start understanding more words. You start recognizing sentences faster. You start feeling more comfortable with English. Not perfect, but better than before. And this is the real journey of learning. It is not sudden. It is gradual. It is slow improvement that builds over time. That is why consistency is more important than speed. If you continue even a little every day, your brain keeps improving. But if you stop and start again, progress becomes slow again. So the most important message of this chapter is simple. Do not judge your progress in a few days. Give your brain time. Let it adjust. Let it learn quietly in the background. Even when you feel nothing is happening, something is happening inside you. Your brain is learning how to understand English step by step. And one day, without noticing, you will realize that English does not feel as hard as it used to. Chapter 8. The Real Secret of English Fluency and Your Next Step. Now you have reached the final part of this journey. You have learned many important things. You have understood why English feels hard. You have seen how your brain learns slowly. You have learned about subconscious learning, sleep exposure, daily habits, and simple routines. Now it is time to connect everything together. Let's understand one final truth very clearly. English fluency is not built in one big moment. It is built in small daily moments that you repeat again and again. That is the real secret. Many learners think fluency means speaking fast and perfectly, but that is not true. Real fluency means understanding easily and expressing yourself naturally without fear. It is not about being perfect, it is about being comfortable with the language. If you look at people who speak English fluently, you will notice something important. They did not learn everything in one day. They did not become fluent in a short time. They learned slowly through listening, repeating, and practicing over a long period. That is exactly what you're starting to do now. Sleep learning, daily listening, and simple repetition are not magic tricks. They are small tools that help your brain get used to English. They make English feel familiar, and when something feels familiar, it becomes easy. But there is something even more important than all methods. It is consistency. Consistency means doing a little every day without stopping. Even if you feel slow, even if you feel like nothing is changing, even if you feel tired, you still continue in a simple way. This is where most learners fail. They start strong but stop too early. They expect fast results. When they do not see change quickly, they give up. But language learning does not reward speed, it rewards patience. Now imagine a different version of yourself. A version that does not quit after a few days. A version that listens to English every day, even for a short time. A version that is not afraid of mistakes. A version that slowly understands more and more English every week. That version is not far away. That version starts with your daily habits. You do not need to change everything at once. You do not need to study for many hours. You just need to stay connected with English every day. Even small exposure matters. Even 10 minutes of listening matters. Even simple repetition matters, because your brain is always learning in the background. Even when you are not studying deeply, it is still processing what you hear. It is building connections, it is recognizing patterns. Slowly, this process becomes powerful. One day, you will notice something surprising. You will understand a sentence without translating it in your mind. You will hear English and just understand it directly. This is a big moment. It shows your brain has started thinking in patterns, not words. You will also notice that speaking becomes less scary. You may still make mistakes, but you will not feel afraid like before. You will try more. You will speak more, and that practice will make you better. This is how real improvement happens. Slowly, naturally, without pressure. Now here is something you must always remember. Do not compare your progress with others. Everyone learns at their own speed. Some people take more time, some people take less time. What matters is your own progress compared to yesterday. Even small improvement is success. Even one new word understood is progress. Even one sentence remembered is growth. If you continue this journey, English will slowly become part of your life. It will not feel like a subject anymore. It will feel like a skill you are comfortable with. Something you can use without fear. And that is the goal. So now your next step is very simple. Do not stop. Keep going, keep listening, keep exposing your brain to English every day. Keep it simple, keep it light, keep it consistent. Because fluency is not built by studying hard once. It is built by showing up every day in a simple way. Now everything is in your hands. If you continue, your English will improve. If you stop, progress will slow down. But if you stay consistent, your brain will slowly transform. And one day, you will look back and realize that English is no longer difficult for you. It has become natural. That is your journey. And it starts from today. Now it is your turn. You have learned a new way to improve your English. A simple way. A natural way. A way that works with your brain, not against it. But remember one thing. Nothing will change if you do not take action. So start today. Even if it is small. Listen to English before sleep. Repeat a few sentences in the morning. Keep English around you during your day. Do not try to be perfect. Just be consistent. If you do this daily, your English will slowly improve. Not in one day, but step by step, your brain will change. If this video helped you, then subscribe to the channel, because I will guide you step by step to make English simple and easy for you. Like this video if you believe English can become easy with the right method. And comment, "I will learn English," if you are ready to stay consistent from today. Remember, your journey is just starting. Keep going.